feel for New Bern Civic Theater?
Love New Bern Civic Theater. Love being a part of their productions.
I had to jump right on it because the American Revolution is one of my favorite subjects.
And I hope more patrons will come out and see the excitement that we have going on here.
And I really hope that people see the magic of live theater. New Bern is celebrating its 300th anniversary, and about a year and a half ago it was decided that 1776 was the perfect show for this event this year.
And I threw my name in the hat, and I feel fortunate that I got the commission to do it. My strategy is to first and foremost assemble the finest staff that I can get as far in advance of production time as possible, because in the community theater community in general, people commit themselves early to the shows that they choose to do in the upcoming season. So I think it's very important to get the best people on the staff early so that they're not already committed to another production. Following that, you know, it's kind of as all the textbooks tell you, 90% of direction is in the casting. So getting the very best cast that we can get really comes from a similar strategy to publicize auditions early because of the massive time commitment that theater involves for anybody who does it.
In my case, it's a role that I did 25 years ago, and I just looked for the opportunity and was hoping for the opportunity to do it again. It's one of the most intense characters that a guy can play. It's very enjoyable, and I'm very fortunate to be able to do it a second time.
Bob dragged me along. I wasn't as familiar with the play, but as soon as I saw it, I fell in love with it, and certainly with Abigail Adams, I'm a history buff, and she is certainly one of my featured female favorites, so it's exciting to play Abigail.
And I really wanted to get back into theater after I came back from college. I studied political science, so I needed a hobby while I was working to kind of break away from it all. And so when I saw that they were doing 1776, I had to jump right on it because the American Revolution is one of my favorite subjects. You don't want to make it dry, but at the same time, you want to let the audience know, you know, the magnitude of what took place, to make them laugh at the same time at something as dry and dull as the Congress.
This show is unique in the fact that it has 24 men and only 2 women. Most community theaters would not even dare to think that they could corral a cast of 24 men. And before I agreed to do the show, I brainstormed with several people to see if we could come up with a list of 24 men. We were lucky enough that we came up with a list of 34 men. So we figured we got a good shot at casting the show. In the process of casting, we were very fortunate in that we got a lot of new people who have never been with New Bern Civic Theater before. Some people never been in a theatrical production before. Fortunately, they've all had some experience in front of an audience, whether it be the Barbershop Quartet, the Craven Community Chorus, something that's put them in front of an audience. So we feel we've got a good cross-section of the community, which again flatters community theater, because that's what it's all about. And yet we still have an extremely high-quality production. And then once the show is cast, to give people a pretty good idea of what the rehearsal schedule is going to be right from day one. So we don't have a lot of conflicts. We don't have a lot of people coming in and saying, well, I can't make rehearsal that day because I got this, this, and this. So it really does involve a lot of planning and organization in the, I'd say, 6 to 8 months before we ever start production. Working on things like set design, working on things like budget, costumes. You really do yourself a favor if you have the set design locked in before you ever begin the first rehearsal. That way you know where the actors are going to be. You're not working juxtaposed from what the set designer may be doing, and then you have to force fit the whole thing closer to the end. What I like to try for in community theater, because it's a very short run, we only have about 12 performances, is that the first performance looked like we've been running for a month and a half. And the only way to do that is to get to where you're running the show under performance conditions as soon as possible, with all the accoutrements, all the tech stuff, the props, the lights, the sound, the orchestra. If you can put that all into place a good 3 weeks before you go up, that's optimal. Now, that's also very wishful, because in community theater it's hard to happen, since you're coming in following a show that's going out, and when you go out there's another show coming in, and on it goes. So there's obstacles that have to be overcome, but it is truly a collaborative experience, and it's a cooperative experience. Everybody who works in this medium knows that. You've got to cooperate with the show that's in front of you and the show that's behind you, because many of the technical people who they're using, you'll be using. Theater is a wonderful collaborative adventure. This company has, I think I was counting it up this morning, has a total of 57 people involved in this show in various capacities. Only 26 are in the cast. Everybody else is kind of behind the scenes, as they say, but their contribution is no less important than the folks who will be before the lights. I'm just proud of everyone who's worked so hard, because I can honestly say there isn't a person in this company that hasn't put forth 150% of effort to get this show to where it is.
The Gala, that journey began about 2 years ago, actually before this show was picked, and we wanted to do something spectacular and celebrate the 300th anniversary. So Carter Rollins came up with this idea of doing a Hollywood premiere on the red carpet for whatever show was going to be picked. And a group of very intelligent, very motivated women got together, and we formed a committee, and we've worked on it for 2 years, and tonight it was a huge success.
I don't know that it's ever been done before. The street in front of the theater is going to be closed to traffic for the duration of the gala until the show begins. There's just a whole host of elements that have been brought together within the community.
It actually grew and grew. It started out with just the red carpet and some paparazzi, but you know, as all ideas start, they just kind of snowball with the whole let's pretend and let's do this and let's do that.
We have a lot of exciting things going on tonight. We have Chicago. We have Daynette Orr and John Van Dyke, who are going to entertain you. We've got Hollywood stars filtering around. We've got Betty Boop. We've got Audrey Hepburn. Anne Margaret here. We've got Fred Astaire. This is the one time that we all get to be Hollywood movie stars. Strut your stuff on that red carpet, ladies, because you all look fabulous.
Sabrina Bengal and her husband Steve Bengal hosted this gorgeous, exclusive cocktail party over in their beautiful home for us. And we also had, to tie the whole thing together, because 1776 is not exactly Hollywood, we invited the Tryon Palace Fife and Drum Corps, and they performed as the guests were walking in, and it was the perfect connection.
Rick Loveless, nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. You guys look wonderful, and you don't have to perform in the rain, which is kind of nice. You guys ready?
At 7:30, which should be like right now, we're going to start slowly getting our guests to come out here. You guys are going to be our call to arms that the show is going to come. What I'd like for you to do is just walk on up to the brick, march, do whatever it is that you do so brilliantly, face the theater, and play to the audience as they're going in.
started a couple years ago when I was asked to decorate for our annual gala that we have here to honor our volunteers. I said I would love to, but could I put a little splash of color in the lobby? I will repaint it over if you don't like it. And they said, go for it, absolutely. So I started with a burgundy, and it went from there. I had 3 walls painted. They said, please go ahead and finish it. So it's been an ongoing project, and I just finished it this week. Angelina Hardy, theater manager, got me some wonderful volunteers in December. JP Yates donated the paint, and so it's been this wonderful collaborative effort, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, of doing some little trim work with gold and just bringing our lobby back to where it should be.
One of the things that attracts me to New Bern is there is so much camaraderie here, there's so much giving here, and there's a lot of support for the arts here. And in the midst of a recession and everyone pulling together for the 300th anniversary, they were still willing to give to New Bern Civic Theater, and I was blown away by that. Our title sponsor was Nicholas Sparks. Thank you so much. We had corporate sponsors throughout the whole thing as well, and so many people contributed to this. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it is because of you that we are able to come here and perform and be a part of the community. This is your community theater, and I want to thank you for all your support. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy 1776.
The New Bern Civic Theater is fantastic. Just to have someplace where you can act, you can sing, you can dance, and people pay to see that. And you don't have to pay people to see that. That's, that's really, it's really wonderful. The New Bern Civic Theater is great.
New Bern Civic Theater provides a stage for this talent we have in this area. It's astounding to me, only being a part of the New Bern Civic Theater since 2006, seeing the kids grow up in the programs, and they're going on to college to study drama. They're directing now, and it's so exciting to see people come together with this amount of talent, creativity, magic that happens for these productions. I'm just so proud to be a part of it, and I want New Bern to get excited and be here to enjoy this.
Bob and I met doing a show on this stage, became incredibly good friends, and fell in love. New Bern Civic Theater will always be near and dear to us. And you've been here a lot longer than I have.
30 years I've been doing things on the stage with New Bern Civic Theater, so I'm certainly sold, enjoy it. It's well organized, and I think the production staff right now is among the best we've ever had, and I've just enjoyed being part of it.
I've seen this theater grow from what, quite frankly, I didn't think was very high-quality theater when I first moved to New Bern to a theater I'm proud to be associated with. And that's been over a period of about 15 years, which tells you something about the whole art and process of theater development. It is a game of inches. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and the nurturing of the people with the experience and talent who can bring others along. And I think Civic Theater's done a wonderful job of that. I mean, I've had many people say, with regard to several New Bern Civic Theater productions, you won't see better anywhere. You won't see better on Broadway. And that's the best compliment that you can get. And these are people who have been to Broadway.
I think for us, and when I say us, it's a group here. It literally is community theater, and every person in the community in some way or another is tied to it. And I think we are all envisioning a place where we can put on spectacular shows, where we can work as a team and everyone is included, and we can educate ourselves as well as people who come through. It's not just about entertainment that we do here. There's a lot of education that goes on here. We have after-school programs for children. We do children's workshop. We're very proud this year to introduce our teen program, which is an empowerment for our teens. They are extremely talented, and they will be directing and producing and doing all of the work, just as any other director here would be doing. The vision here is to not just entertain, but to come together and put on productions and work together and make quality shows and quality productions here at New Bern Civic Theater without compromising that community theater ambiance. That to me is the most important thing. I started here about 4 years ago. Actually, it was 4 years ago. And I couldn't even spell theater. And I walked through these doors and was accepted. And this became a place where I could find creativity. I felt this enormous feeling of being a part of something really good. And it never stops. Every day I learn something. Every day there's a new challenge. Every day I meet these amazing people. One of the things that I think people don't realize is there are so many brilliant, educated, phenomenal, and creative people here in New Bern. And to be around that makes me a better person. It's also introduced a whole new world to my children. My boys are also now a part of this. I think community theater is extremely important because it is an expression. It is an opportunity for people who grew up this way to come in and relive memories, and especially with 1776. Tonight was a night that I felt so patriotic, so proud to be an American. I think that message was very clear tonight. This was a prime example of how people come together and support, and I really hope that people see the magic of live theater and want to support it.